Greetings and salutations, nerds and nerd adjacents. I am here with exciting plans. 2026 is a year of promise for you and I and anyone who's embarking on this journey with me to do more fun things with the limited amount of time that we have. So I've got a problem, and my problem is that I have a lot of things I want to do, and I have less than 24 hours to do it. You know, you have 24 hours, but like the majority of those 24 hours are spent doing stuff that isn't the things that you want to do, like sleeping and the other responsibilities you have to do. So I've got family, which is wonderful. I love having a family, but it also means that I need to like show up for them and not just be a selfish, ingrate. There's things I need to do. I have to go have to work for a living. All of these sorts of things, and that this really eats away at my free time. Now, the reason that free time thing even comes into being an issue now is that last year I rediscovered a love for some life-giving hobbies, and these hobbies were things like gaming and reading and even writing to a different degree. And one of the other things that I discovered I enjoyed in this past year is this channel. I enjoy making this content. It's a lot of fun to make videos, hang out with you guys, have the interaction that I get to have with you in the comments. It's a lot of fun. It's been really encouraging. I feel like I'm not a complete and total weirdo because other people are liking the same sorts of things that I do, and that's really cool. So I want more of that in 2026. The problem is I don't have a magic wand to wave to give myself more time or something. I can't double up on my time in a day. None of that's going to happen. So my solution is, and this is going to sound mildly pretentious and a little bit like I'm trying to sound more intelligent than I'm actually trying to sound. But that's it. I want to do less. Wait, no, I'm going to do more with less. And I'll explain what that means. See, I even made myself confused. So what I want to say, I want to do more with less. I have less time. I'm going to also limit the amount of things that I'm trying to get done in a day in terms of my like hobby stuff. And with that limitation, I plan to get more done. So I'm going to let you in on the secret sauce, and we'll kind of talk about some of the things that I'm hoping to get done. I'm going to share a little bit of my TBR, very little. I'll have a separate video for that later for those of you who are interested in the book side of my nerddom and want to share into that sort of world. But for those of you who are more interested in gaming, this video is really kind of for you. The things that I'm planning to get done, I've got a list of games that I'm planning to get done, and I have a plan on how I'm actually going to accomplish actually getting more gameplay done, and hopefully getting more videos recorded. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But really, like, I'm just going to kind of unpack what my secret sauce year hack is going to be for 2026. And that secret sauce year hack is, as I said, to do more with less. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Really, it's kind of simple. Like, so I've got three things I'm going to share about this plan, and then I'll kind of talk about what I'm planning to do with it, and then we'll kind of like apply it, and then we'll kind of wrap it up from there. Okay, so in terms of like, what does it take? There's two parts of this. There's a discipline component, and then there's a freedom component, and those sound like they don't go together, but I promise they kind of do. And I guess that kind of makes sense for anyone who's ever tried to do anything. Like anything free, you have to be disciplined to do the free thing. So maybe you already know where I'm going with this. So in terms of discipline, I'm going to give myself a set amount of hours every day to get up early in the morning, and which is, sounds insane, but I'm going to get up early in the morning and give myself some time to do these sort of things that are very important to me. And I mentioned I had a handful of hobbies that I'm trying to do. They're life-giving. They're good for my mental health. They help me show up to be a better version of myself for my family, for my workplace, all of that. But those things are, as I said, writing, which is a huge thing I've got to make more time for this year. Gaming, which has been super fun, engaging with these stories, and then making the content here. The other piece, the reading, I'm shoving that in every part of the day I can. But the miracle of audiobooks, I get that on my commute. I read right before I go to bed. The reality is, it's going to be a little bit of a change if I am forcing myself to wake up. I am actually going to have to just like go to sleep before like 2 a.m. As I'm binging a Wheel of Time, book. All that to say, those are the things. So there's that discipline side. I'm gonna have to get up and squeeze in everything except for the reading. I'll do that separately, but got to wake up and do those things. All right, cool. What's the freedom? I mean, the freedom basically, number one, is that I'm free to do it. I'm giving myself permission to enjoy life, which maybe you don't think you need permission. More power to you. But I found that responsibility and the burden of all those things winds up I can guilt myself out of doing a lot of things. The other thing is I'm going to be free by limiting the amount of choices that I have, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But I get into analysis paralysis. If I have a massive backlog of games, just specifically talking about games, I will wind up not playing anything because I'm looking at the list of games like, oh, should I play this one or this one? Which one's better? And then I like him and haw about it like a complete goober. And by the end of my allotted time to game, I'm out of time. So when you're an adult, you don't just give all the time you want to do all the things you want. Well, I don't. Maybe you do. You hit the jackpot. I'm also lowering the stakes. So there's this is not like rocket science. I'm not doing anything really, really crazy. I'm just, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to, build some memories. I'm also not trying to make this perfect. So like the general rule that's sort of weaving itself between the discipline and the freedom, it's something I like to call no FOMO. So I'm not going to be giving myself permission. I'm giving myself permission, and I'm also forbidding. I'm forbade. I have been forbidden to experience FOMO. Now, when you see someone else playing a game or someone else with a backlog or someone else with whatever, I can feel like, oh, junk, I'm missing my opportunity here to get in on this thing. And that's kind of ridiculous. I got my own life to live. I got my own stuff to do. They're doing their thing. That's cool. I'll play that game one day if I can't. It's no big deal, right? Sounds like it should be simple. Again, maybe I'm just neurotic. Sorry. This is true confessions with me, I guess, But that freedom to not have the FOMO also means that I can do this entire project my way. And if I want to change it on the fly, then, kind of like, so be it. I'll change it as I want to, right? So one of the things that I'm trying to do here with this project, my kind of like the underpinning secret weapon to my secret weapon, is that I'm replicating the limitations that were placed on me by default through childhood. So growing up in the 90s and the early aughts, I didn't have a lot of options. I didn't have a ton of money. We definitely didn't have a ton of games. So when I played games, I had the games I had, or we'd go rent one on occasion and pay way too much money in late fees from Blockbuster whenever you missed the one day. That was crazy. If you didn't live through that time, wow, what a time to be alive. Anyway, I'm just replicating this because, with a limitation to the number of games that I can play, I just got to squeeze all the life out of them, squeeze all the juice right out of that game. And even if it's a game that would have started off like not incredible, or I can find something awesome about it by completing it. And I think there's something really cool about that. Obviously, it's difficult now because there's so many options out there. There's so much choice, and there's a lot of shovelware, especially on all the eShops. Like the Nintendo eShop has a ton of shovelware on it. Not near as much as people complain about, but there's a lot. There's a lot of garbage out there. And I mean, like the Steam library. If you're a PC player, man, Steam is full of garbage games. It's full of great games too. But okay, so the options are there. No matter what console or what your platform is. You have to have some discernment. So you make up your own. We'll talk about that. If you're interested, I'll give you some of my decision matrix, how I decide on what games I want. A lot of it is like a backlog of games I've been interested in for many years that I never had a chance to play. Like I said, I'm going to have a separate video talking about my sort of TBR, but the two TB piles, and I'm not talking about like piles of tuberculosis. I'm talking about my to be read pile, which, spoiler alert, is still full of Wheel of Time. I did get most of Wheel of Time for Christmas, which is really exciting. I have a couple of books left to fill out the rest of the series, which is great because that means I'm not waiting on them from the library or anything like that. And it's just really cool to own a series that I'm really loving. I'll make it again, another video for that. But my TBP, my to be played pile, is definitely bigger than I thought it was. As I was preparing this video, I kind of made a list of the things that I was looking to play, spread across a couple of platforms now. So we'll dive into that. So on the Nintendo Switch, games that I'm hoping to get through in my early morning game time. I'm going to beat Tears of the Kingdom this year. I'm planning to beat through Echoes of Wisdom, which I also got for Christmas, which is exciting. I need to beat Dragon Quest XI. It's been one of my favorite RPGs, and I haven't beat it yet, so I have to get through and beat that. I also want to go through, speaking of Zelda, and beat Skyward Sword HD at some point this year. Going back and forth between like the modern Zelda games on the Switch and the older games is definitely something, it's that learning curve. I've talked about this in a previous video. But the controls are similar enough, but different. And like, why can't I just jump? You have to like remember that that's a revolutionary thing in some ways for these 3D Zelda games to just jump on demand. Another game on the Switch that I want to finish, I haven't gone through a full playthrough, since I got it on the Switch is Metroid Prime Remastered. I have an old video now talking about like my initial thoughts on firing it up. And it's a really awesome game. It's so beautifully well done. I mean, right now, if you're like me and you don't have Metroid Prime 4, why not dust off Metroid Prime Remastered and let's have a blast doing that one. So those are some of the games on the Switch they're my highlights, ones I'm really hoping to get through. Now, I have a Wii U, as you know. I picked it up at a game convention last year. And if you don't know, hey, I have a Wii U. I picked it up at a game convention last year. We got a great deal on it. And there's a couple of games on that I am hoping to go through this year as well. So number one, of course, is going to be Wind Waker HD. I am playing that together a little with my kids, letting them relive, or me reliving, letting them live for the first time, one of my favorite Zelda stories. So that's been really fun. So that slows me down a little bit because I don't just play whenever I want to. But that one is a lot of fun. I also want to beat Hyrule Warriors. I have the original Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U, which is a lot of fun as well. So playing through that one. Xenoblade Chronicles X, I definitely want to go through that game. I picked that up at the convention and haven't had a chance to play it yet. So my backlog, which is something I've never had in my life before, but I'm looking back and I got a lot. The other two games on the Wii U that I have are two Assassin's Creed games that I never played. It's 3 and 4, and looking forward to playing through those, seeing what that looks like, and seeing how that feels. Now, the final thing, the thing that's a brand new lineup, brand new platform, something new for me this year that I've never had as an option before. I consolidated some things, liquidated some assets, got myself a little bit of cash, and then when they were on sale, I picked up a refurbished Steam Deck. So my refurbished Steam Deck is now bringing me back to the world of PC games, which I have not been able to take part in a very, very long time. And the reality is that there's a ton of PC games on Steam, and I've got a huge wish list on there. But the games that I'm right now planning, when I picked up the Steam Deck on sale, I got a copy of Hogwarts Legacy. It was, like nickels. It was like $5. But so I picked that up mainly so I could compare the Nintendo Switch version of Hogwarts Legacy and the PC version. And I've started a new playthrough. Definitely enjoying kind of going through that already. I mean, the story is the same, but it feels definitely different in the sense of it's a much more powerful. I realize that there's lots of people out there that are beefy gamers who play on real PCs who would scoff at me comparing the Steam Deck to the Nintendo Switch, and I mean there's just a very different experience. I've enjoyed it a lot. So having that, it's been really fun. There's a series of games, 2 games, that I have been really interested in on a wish list in a very long time. I'm a huge Star Wars fan as well, as you can probably just guess by anything you ever heard me say. I am indeed a basic nerd. Jedi Fallen Order, I never played, and or obviously the sequel as well. Now having a PC, having a Steam Deck. Having access to these games when Steam goes on their crazy sales, that really opens some opportunities to put games. So put games in your wish list. If you have a Steam account, be ready for whenever the time shows up so that you can get these games when they go on crazy sale, because they do. It's mind-blowing the sales that these things have. Now, I picked up these 2 games in particular because one, Hogwarts Legacy, as you know, is one of my favorite games. I've had a lot of fun playing that over the past year, especially, and we've talked about that a little bit on this channel. And so picking that up is fun. Jedi Fallen Order, I love a good story-driven game. And this game is so story-driven. And I'm definitely enjoying, so far. I've got like 5 hours into it already, and it's been a blast. So I've got 12 games that I'm going through, and that's way more than I'm ever going to get through, than I've gotten through in a year, and maybe ever. And maybe for you, it's a drop in the bucket. You look at this list and you're like, all right, 12 games, bro. Like, this is nothing. I'm baby steps. Remember, I got no FOMO. You got no FOMO. We're not casting shade on each other. We're doing this our own way. So I'm going to hopefully get through the vast majority of these games. Maybe I'll get through all 12 this year. And I'm hoping to be able to share that journey with you, share my thoughts on each one of these games as I go through it. I want to... I'm probably not going to 100% all of them, because that is something I don't necessarily have the bandwidth for. And I'll get close to it though, because I enjoy really diving into some of these games and getting all the lore that I can. That's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite parts about some of these more expansive games that you can play. So Those are the games that I'm planning to get through. In terms of writing, I will have a separate video for anyone who's interested. Let me know in the comments below if you are interested in knowing the kind of projects I'm working on. It's fantasy and science fiction. Again, I'm a basic nerd. So what do you expect out of me? Now, I am excited to know, what are you working on? What are your resolutions? What's your plan for this year? Do you plan to get more done hobby-wise? Do you want to get more done in your free time? Do you have any personal goals, languages you want to learn? I've got a ton of dreams, things that I'd love to get done in a year, but I'm also very pragmatic. This is the season of life I'm in. I've got limited time. I'm going to wake up and I'll give some follow-up to this video maybe in a couple weeks, talking about the way that I am trying to implement this and trying to keep myself accountable as I'm kind of moving forward. But I'm hoping to explore this more with you guys, and let me know if any of these games are on your list, or if the games that I'm playing are ones that you're not interested in, or ones that you've already beaten. I'd love to hear from you, and hope you have a fantastic day. Happy New Year. Happy you. Happy life. Stay nerdy.